My name is David Johnston. I'm Governor General of Canada and the Commander-in-Chief of our Armed Forces. My role, I guess, is fivefold. One, I have a responsibility as the Queen's representative for the constitutional law matters to ensure that we have a Prime Minister and a Cabinet, a functioning Parliament, and I sign into law legislation, orders in council, and so on. A second role is that of Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, which is an honorific role, one of which I'm very proud. The third is a role on external relations. We receive all of the new diplomats to Canada, about 200 of them. You play a lot of this game back home? No. No, but you rolled out. And then we're responsible for the honor system, which was quite extensive. It includes military honors, of course, of which we're very proud. And the final aspect of the role is what I would call honoring and inspiring Canadians in their communities across the country. For me, of course, it's the people, and I was new to involvement with our armed forces, and I certainly came with respect, but I never realized just how lucky we are with the quality of people that we attract into our volunteer armed forces, both full-time and reserve. These are unusual Canadians. I call them wrong way guys and gals because they put on a uniform, and when there is difficulty, they go and face it. They are the people that head for the pointy end of difficulties because they are there to defend us, to protect us, and they do it very well. I have now worked with 3 chiefs of defense staff, and they become very good friends. Walt Natinchuk, who was chief of defense staff when I came into this position, when he was relatively young, he'd just been promoted to lieutenant colonel. And after about 24 hours, he said the euphoria began to wear off, and a kind of revelation of my new role. And I went from me to we. And I realized that my job now had nothing to do with Walt Natinchuk, but everything to do for the men and women who were under my command. That reflects so well of the attitude that all of the men and women in our armed forces take to their responsibilities. It's very much a we proposition and not a me proposition. The one thing I did ask of the Prime Minister when I took on this job was to go to Afghanistan as soon as possible. At the end of my visit there, which was short, I spent about a half an hour with the senior U.S. military officer liaison with our Canadian troops. And he said to me, I have 2 things I want to tell you, and I want to impress them upon you as strongly as I can. He said, I've been watching people in military theaters for 40 years, and I can tell you that your troops are second to none in the world as professionals. The one thing more that astonishes me, and I still can't quite believe it, is how well they are able to take off the professional warrior's hat and put on the civilian leader's hat of working with a group of farmers to restore the farm and the village, of helping to build a school and ensure that the teachers could go there and teach and the students could in safety, of taking out of the most chaotic situation the elements that permit people to rebuild their lives. I didn't think those 2 personalities could operate within one individual. They do, and for the longest time I thought it must be special training in your military, and I came to the conclusion it's not that. They reflect the fundamental values of Canadians, which we admire so much, and they're so well represented in your armed forces. And those observations are ones that remain with me to this day.